Good morning, everyone. We got a minute to go and we'll get started here. We have so many exciting things to share with you. I'm going to go ahead and bring our Facebook Live audience in. Our panelists are very anxious to meet you this morning. All right, I'm watching those numbers grow. Let us know where you're tuning in from, everyone. So Lisa and Jeff, check out the chat box and the Q&A box. Give us a shout out, and I'm going to pull up Facebook on my phone so I can keep an eye on those items and questions.
Good morning.
Morning, everyone.
Indianapolis in the house. Hi, Linda. Let's see. Good representation so far, looks like, from both US and Canada, and we'll get started here in just a second. All right. I see a little hello from Boston on Facebook, so that's great. Loving this. All right. Well, good morning, everyone in RE/MAX land. My name is Michelle Hoyt. I am Manager of Education and Development at RE/MAX INTEGRA. RE/MAX INTEGRA is the largest independent region of RE/MAX worldwide. And we are excited to have all of our participants from both the Midwest, New England, and Ontario Atlantic region. Each week we are featuring one representative from the US and one from the Ontario Atlantic region talking about all the amazing things that they're doing that's helping them grow their business and build relationships. So today's topic is all about social media. So I am so honored to have two illustrious panelists that know all about social media. I know pressure, no pressure, guys, but that know a lot about social media, and they're really excited and very generous with their time to share. Before we get started, I just want to quickly mention for those of you on Zoom, take note, please, of the chat box and the Q&A box. Lisa and Jeff want to hear from you. We highly encourage your participation. Questions, I will keep an eye on those as we are going through. And they also are going to be sharing their screens and showing you some of the amazing things they've put into practice today. That's really getting results and engagement for them. So I see some shout outs from both Ontario Atlantic and the US. So hello, everyone. Hello, Facebook audience. We are so excited to have you. So I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. I'm going to have our panelists introduce themselves to you so you can get to know them. As I'm getting to know both of them, I knew Lisa before, but Jeff, it's great to have you as part of my new group of friends at RE/MAX. We're all one big happy family. So, all right, we'll start with you, Lisa. Lisa, tell everyone about you, your background, how you came to be at RE/MAX, what your market's like, and anything else you want us to know. Any fun facts or hidden talents, please feel free to share with everyone.
Oh, Lord, no pressure there again. So good morning, everybody. I'm Lisa Hanley. I'm with RE/MAX Advantage Plus. I joined RE/MAX Advantage Plus in 2012, the end of 2012. And this is my one and only home. I love RE/MAX and I love my brokerage. So this is where I'm going to be because of things like this, because of the education that is given to us and the opportunities that are given to us. It's fantastic. I got into real estate after years and years of being in higher education. I was a former college volleyball coach, college athletic director, and dean of student services. And as I reached the dean position and realized that I really wasn't serving the students the way I thought I was going to be able to, I decided to take the leap because I'd always wanted to go into real estate. And so took the leap and absolutely love it. Love the opportunities that we have to serve people and make connections again through social media. So staying connected with people I know, meeting new people. And as for any hidden talents, boy, I just, other than coaching and that I can twirl my tongue in a weird way, I don't know, I really don't have any hidden talents other than that. But no, it's being part of RE/MAX and having these is a huge part of the reason that I've been able to be successful in a relatively short amount of time. So super excited to be here and super excited to share with everybody.
Could you tell everyone where you're located and what your market's like currently?
So I'm located out of Egan, so it's a suburb of the Twin Cities. So I serve the Twin Cities area and all the surrounding areas. I was in Montana for 12 years, so for me, driving an hour is nothing because if you live in Montana, to get some decent shopping, you literally have to drive a long ways away. So I serve all the areas, and our market is hot right now. It slowed down during COVID, and then we had our late spring to where we were seeing 10, 20 offers on houses out here. And now we're down to maybe 1 to 3 offers, but it's still hot. And yet on the same token, we're telling buyers now's the time to buy because you might not see as many offers. But as sellers, we're still trying to get them on board to sell right now because it's still a seller's market out here.
Sure. And what's the average sales price there in Twin Cities?
So depends on the area that you're at. And so ours is right around 275 where I'm at, and kind of my market, what I've sold, I'm right around that 275, and it will range up to 320. I know there's certain areas that, I get excited if I sell a 1.2, and I know there's certain areas that they're like 1.2, that's just general and average. But for us, we're more in that 275 to 320.
Okay, thank you. If any of you've ever been to Minneapolis, Minnesota, or St. Paul, the Twin Cities, it's an incredible area. There's large companies there. Best Buy is headquartered there. Target is headquartered there, just to name a few. So it's an amazing place. All right, Jeff. Let's meet Jeff, everyone. So Jeff, tell us all about you and anything you want us to know.
I don't have any weird maneuvers with my tongue, so I can't, I can't, Lisa wins that. But, so we're from Ottawa, Canada, which is in the province of Ontario. So we're just, basically 1 million in terms of population. So we're the capital of the country. And the reason I bring that up is a little bit about our market with, our Ottawa market being a federal employee town. We've had good job stability. But going back from the beginning, not all the way to the beginning, but when I started at RE/MAX, I'm 39 years old. I started selling real estate when I was 19, and I'm a RE/MAX lifer. So I've been with RE/MAX since the very beginning. I've watched, obviously, our markets changed. I've watched our industry change, but I've also watched RE/MAX change, and it's been an amazing journey. I definitely believe in the red, white, and blue, and the people that we get to work with, right? Like we have we have the best network there is, and our team tries to leverage that, of course, for our own market here in Ottawa. But so we're a team of 9, and we have I'm going to say a medium-sized team, but we try to pack a punch, and we definitely believe in the social media aspect of our business. We think it's really necessary, and looking forward this morning to share whatever I can to hopefully help someone and learn from Lisa. And I can say I appreciate, Michelle, you including us, because it's a great opportunity for us to meet some new faces and new names. So other than that, 3 kids, play a lot of golf. That's my hobby. And it's not snowing yet. Lisa did ask, it is not snowing yet in Canada.
Well, there you go. And next time I'm up there, let's hit the links, because I love to golf too. That'd be great. So, well, all right. So let's talk about social media. And, there's no person in the world can say they know everything there is to know about social media, but there's ways to use social media to be successful in the real estate business. And there's some do's and don'ts. So we're going to share everything with you. So let's talk about, I want everyone watching right now, whether you're watching live right now or you're watching this later on, think about the very first time you ever heard about Facebook. What's Facebook? Well, when did this come about? So a lot of you may not know, but Facebook started basically on college campuses back in 02, 03. So there were actually college students using it first. Watch the movie The Social Network. It might give you a good background. So let's talk to Lisa and Jeff a little bit about the very beginning. So Lisa, we'll start with you. How did you first learn about Facebook and even Instagram? And when did you actually join? And I guess what finally motivated you to do so?
So I heard about Facebook actually from a former athletic director of mine when I was getting out of coaching, because I always made lasting relationships with my players, and I felt sad about leaving. And she's like, "Hey, are you on Facebook? You should join Facebook." And I'm like, "Oh, it's Facebook." And that's why I originally got into it, was really to stay connected with my students and my players that I used to teach and coach. So that's how I got into it. And in reality, it's really the basis of what I still do, which is staying connected, interaction with my clients and my players and my friends. So really for me, it originally started for exactly the same reason I use it for work right now. So it was really an easy transition for me to go from, just trying to stay connected with my players to staying connected with my clients.
That's fantastic. Jeff, how about you?
So, you know what, I'm trying to think of where it would have started. I feel like it might have been at a Remax conference, and they started talking about this, social media, necessary evil that was coming that we might have to, participate in. And I'm going to have to say it must have been close to maybe 2007 or 2008 when I would have started. And, like it was one of these things, sort of dipping your toe in and getting a sense of what it was that you were doing. And probably like a lot of people that are even watching this right now, I was always hesitant about how, what should I write, or is this correct? Or, I was always overthinking, everything that was about to be posted. And that word post was a really big deal. But it started off in the beginning as, sort of a way to communicate, similar to now, but just on a much smaller scale, and it started with my immediate friends and, family. I didn't know in the beginning how to use it or leverage it for work. But, over time, you just sort of get comfortable with it, right? So, and whether or not you're comfortable, you can also see what other people are doing. And that's one of the things that I think is actually pretty good about social media is you don't always have to be the person posting. You could be the person that's just engaged with other people's posts, right? Um, and that's something that I think is really important, because not everybody wants to be in the limelight. But anyways, I just want to say one thing. I see in the comments section, Brenda here, she's in Woodstock, Ontario, which is about 5 hours from me, and it's snowing there. So it's snowing somewhere.
It's nice summer. And that's one thing, Michelle, if I can just, there's going to be a lot of things that we're talking about today, a lot of the questions. And before we really get going on the questions and the, what we use and things like that, one of the things I'd really like to mention before we get going is what we're talking about. Don't let it overwhelm you. Don't let it freeze you, and don't have it, have you overthink things, because the most important thing, if you take one thing out of today, just do it. Don't overthink it. And don't worry about it being right or wrong, because if you really overthink it, you just won't do it. And the whole thing about social media is just really getting on there and doing it and interacting. So the things that we mentioned and all the different tools that we use, don't let it overwhelm you. Just pick one, pick two, and go with it. And if you have questions, you're always welcome to direct message me, DM me if anybody wants DM, direct message me. And I'm sure Jeff will be there, but call, direct message us, email. We'll be there to answer questions, but just don't get overwhelmed by it all.
That's fantastic advice. Thank you so much, Lisa. And just so everyone knows, Lisa and Jeff are each going to share their screen and show you some of the very cool things they're doing out there. So before we do that, can we just talk in general a little bit about the types of content that you post? As a trainer, as an educator in the technology space and real estate, I get so many questions about what should I be doing? Obviously, how often should I post? But what are you posting currently? What's your media mix? How photos, videos? Do you reshare, retweet? What's working for you? And then as a second piece of that question, have you made any adjustments during the pandemic? So we'll start with you on this one, Jeff.
So good questions. I think to me, with real estate, there's no perfect formula on how you run your business, and I think that is applicable to social media as well. What one person does and what another person does can be completely different, but I think there's best practices, but it doesn't necessarily mean that one's right and one's wrong. As a business, our office is not always posting our properties, and I think realtors think that we need to constantly, put in the faces of whoever's following us properties, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and prices. Now, certainly we do post those things, but we also try to stay very consistent with some other specific topics. So like right now we're running sort of, I'll call it a campaign, but it's really not a campaign. It's just every week, we'll put out a testimonial of one of our clients, and easy ways to do it is, like the graphic designer that we used, he just went onto our Google reviews and started taking, little captions and, basically put together a little, Tuesday testimonial and rolled it out as a series. So every Tuesday there's a new testimonial, and we try to really include testimonials about all of our people, right? So it's not because we have a team, one of the things the agents love to have their identity exposed as well, right? So, and I have no issue with that. Some of these success stories are fantastic. So we really try to make sure that they're in the limelight as well. Equally as much, we have our agents, talk about right now certain things like Carl in my office loves golf, right? So it was like, where's your favorite golf course in Ottawa and why? Richie is, all about his dog, and he's sharing the best dog parks in Ottawa, right? And it's actually items of value that to a dog lover, they'd appreciate. On my personal page, I can just say that, my son is part of a lot of people's journey. He's gotten used to being in front of the camera. And, to me, it's an easy thing for me to want to share as well. My girls are older. They don't want to be shared, if you will. But Preston, I mean, he's been a big part of our journey. And, that might not resonate with everybody, but it certainly resonates with the people that have kids, right? So that's why I say it's not for everyone, right? Some people, it could be annoying. It's possible, right? But I'm not looking for that person. I'm looking for the people that just, are part of our life. So yeah, that in general is sort of our model. And then of course we use a lot of video as well. So we can talk about that in a bit.
Okay. And then as far as the pandemic is concerned, which I know everyone is kind of over talking about, we know it's there and we've all made our adjustments, but from a social media perspective, did you make any major adjustments?
We were cautious about celebrating any of our successes, especially in the beginning of the pandemic, because, in Ottawa, like I'm sure down in the US, in many of your states, you were still deemed an essential business. We were as well. And we were just, we were respectful of, what was going on. I mean, we still are, but, that sensitivity to me is worn off to a degree because people are trying to get back to normal. But we took it as an opportunity as well to sort of reassure the general public, both with actual real data, like to show, just like Lisa was saying about her market being strong, we were doing the same thing. We continue to do the same thing. And, I at the very beginning of the pandemic, I basically reached out to those that would watch us and just said, hey, if you have a question about the housing market right now, this is your largest asset for most people, give us a call. Like, we can tell you what's going on, internally. And amazingly, there are people that really do reach out, right? They're worried that the market's going to crash, or they're worried about, getting sick if they decide to sell their house, right? Or how do they buy? So yes, we definitely did talk about the pandemic. Most important part would have been just sensitive towards, the people that would actually look at our things as well, right? So yeah.
Thank you. Good strategies. Lisa, what types of media are you posting? And share with us anything that you did during and now during the pandemic.
So I have an 80-20% rule. So because I have multiple pages and multiple platforms, I make sure to use the 80-20. So if I have a business page, it's 80% business, 20% personal. And you do want to put your personal information on your business page because they're hiring you. They want to know about you, what's going on with you. And there's a lot of pages that I look at, and I'm always kind of researching and follow some of the top agents and things like that. So I'm always kind of researching of, some of the top agents, top people that are followed. And the 80-20% rule is really a good rule to follow, because if you have 20% on their personal, they get to know who you are. They get to know about you. They get to know about your family. They get to know about what you think is funny, what they think is, is, you know, if your personality is going to mesh with them, and that's what you really want. Whereas on my personal page, it's 80% personal, and I do throw some business stuff up there because you want to remain top of mind. And most of my past clients become my friends on Facebook. I always invite them to become friends on Facebook. My Facebook is actually public, and if you don't know that you can make it public or private, I would highly recommend keeping it public. And the reason why is because then they can share it. And so when you're putting information on there, they can actually share it, they can tag you, and that's what you want, is that brand recognition. And that's what you're going for, is brand recognition, and giving you a little bit of a, you know, a shout out, and so they can tag you on things, and a shout out. So if they're moving or if they've used the trailer, I have a trailer and a dump truck that they can use, they can give me a shout out if it's public, and they can share. If I have a success story about them, they'll literally share it on their page. Well, there, now you have a whole new group. So making sure that you are public, making sure that you're sharing personal and business. And I do it all. I do videos, I do pictures. Can I share my screen here real quick?
Yes, I was going to say this is a good segue in. Let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna share this real quick.
Share your screen. And we welcome questions, comments. Please keep them coming. There's a chat box and a Q&A box for those of you on Zoom, and I am watching the Facebook comments as well.
All right, so I want to see if I can get to. All right, so can you see?
Yes.
All right, do you see this right now with my different platforms?
Ooh, you've got slides.
I do have slides, and if anybody wants, because again, we're going to cover a lot. And I've presented on this for our Advantage Plus brokerage. And so if you want information so that it's not so like, oh my gosh, but you know, the 80-20%, and every platform is different, because your LinkedIn needs to be more business-like. Your Twitter, you can put both personal, and with Instagram, you can link it all up, and you literally can do one post and it shoots to everything. So if you don't think you have time, I'm going to tell you, you do have time. If you know how to link everything up, you do have that time. And Instagram, it's more about a lifestyle. So I make sure that I'm trying to post, you know, more beautiful pictures, things that are going to catch their eye. Whereas Facebook is a little bit more personal, and you can have a little bit more fun with that, and videos and things like that. So kind of understanding that different platforms have different usage. TikTok, I've barely gotten into, and that's because it's a little bit, I'm a pretty serious person. And TikTok is a little bit more fun. So that's one of the things that, you know, that I'll try doing some videos. So this is one video that I did here for Halloween, because I'm Halloween freak, and everybody knows that I'm Halloween freak. So you can do things like this. And with the TikTok, I actually did one that says kind of what to expect when you're selling with flashcards. So it's one of those things where, you know, having an idea and using apps to do, because if you're not a video person, because not everybody's a good video person, not everybody, I do most of my videos like not professional. I just hold my camera, do a video, put it on. I'll do some live feeds, things like that. But if you're not great at that and you want something simple, between Ripple and Canva are my two have to have it, because Ripple makes videos, and you can do videos of either of just pictures and your sales, and it makes it really, really easy. And again, if it's easy, you're going to do it more often. And so those are kind of the things that I, you know, that I share, and I really try to mix it up, because again, I see some platforms where it's just all testimonials, or it's all sold. You know, mix it up, get some personal stuff in there, so that they want to come back and they want to be notified. You want them to follow you so they're notified when something new is up there, because you're hoping that it's interesting. And so like for my Facebook page, I'm going to go through my business one. So some people don't realize that you can actually do a video on the top page, whereas on I have a Rosemont one that's just pictures, but I did a video in this one. And then from there, you can kind of see I have different, from pictures on a party to, I'm going to show you one that was a huge hit, showing that I'm getting ready for a client party, client event. And then some videos of first-time homebuyer grants, It's a real mixture because then people want to kind of come back and see what's happening. And you're going to do some that you're going to grab leads from, some that's just more of a informational, and some that's just kind of fun.
Lisa, I noticed too that you're using the new dark mode that Facebook just put out.
Yeah, it didn't really give us a choice, so I just went with it. Oh, and here's these videos are ones that really get engagements. I do less than 60-second videos for Instagram and Facebook about something that's happening in Minnesota, in Canada. We have to shut off our spigots and make sure that our water is shut off. And a lot of first-time home buyers forget to do it or don't know that they need to do it. So I'll put little videos on, hey, turn your water spigot off. And I'll send it to them. I'll send the link to my new ones. I'll do the video, I'll send it to them so that they also know to kind of keep track. And I'm gonna put little hints like that. I also do it for getting your house ready to sell, what you should be doing, wipe down your plates, things like 60-second, do it by your phone, super simple, super easy. And put it on there. And we get a lot of engagements through that. So with that one, we had 347 and 26 engagements in that one. Just about talking about the spigot.
Love it.
This is one, and again, it's just kind of fun. So this one I actually did because it's Halloween, and again, I'm a Halloween freak. And I actually put this out there in boosts. I did a boost on this one for just a little bit of money. I think I did a $5 boost on it. And it just talks about looking for a place to launch your pirate ship. Call me. And so, I mean, I had 90 engagements off of this goofy pirate ship. So it doesn't always have to be like super like serious. You can have fun with it because if you're fun, they're going to want to sell with you. They're going to want to buy with you, but also make sure you stand out when it comes down to it. And this was this section I really wanted to talk about hashtags. If you did one thing, if you haven't done much, create yourself a hashtag, and it has to be something that is specific to you. So if I go and I hashtag, my specific hashtag I have is, and you can creep on me all you want. My specific hashtag.
Now, did you register your hashtag like at hashtag.org or something like that?
Nope, it's just what I hashtag on my Facebook, on my Instagram. Everything is hashtag Handley Advantage. And so when people are just talking to me, I'll send it via text. Say, hey, creep on me, hashtag Handley Advantage. And you'll see all of this comes up, Handley Advantage, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, Pinterest. I love Pinterest. And so when you hashtag everything you use, it really is just your storyboard. And they can find out who you are in a very quick manner. So this is who I am. I offer a trailer, but it is the simplest, easiest way to do it, but it has to be specific to you. So if I recommend one thing today, create your own specific hashtag and use it on everything you do.
That's awesome. Great advice. I love it. So let's shift the conversation over to business pages. That's one of the questions that I hear a lot, that I think all of you do, and I see on any social media webinar I'm on. Everyone wants to know, what am I supposed to be doing with my business page? So Lisa, while we have you sharing your screen, and then we'll turn it over to Jeff, could you show us your business page and walk us through maybe some of the top 5 things that are really important to do on a business page? And you really do love Halloween, by the way.
I do love Halloween, yes. And you know what? And all my clients know that. They also know they're going to get a caramel apple from me during Halloween. So I do door drops with caramel apples because they're only available this time of the year. And so they know Halloween time is Lisa's going to host a party. Lisa's going to bring us caramel apples. And they love it and they get engaged with it. And so when it comes to your business page, one of the things you're going to want to really make sure you do is make sure you have a way that they can call you now. Make sure you link all the rest of your pages up with it so that they can find you on Instagram, they can find you on Twitter.
Hey, Lisa, sorry, can I interrupt really quick? So I wanted to just point out to everyone, because this comes up a lot, the way that Facebook doesn't like RE/MAX, the brand, in all caps. It's so frustrating because, you know, we want to use the brand appropriately, which is all caps and a slash. But for some reason on your Facebook business page, it will not let you do it. However, if you go back and try to rename your page, you will be surprised because it will let you do it sometimes. So you
It
may have
won't let me. I've tried.
You've tried, I'm sure
Yeah.
you have.
And
I
it
know
won't
it's
let me
been,
do it.
some have been allowed to do it. So I'm not sure what their criteria is, but it's really,
I've even fought it.
Sure.
But they're just like, nope, it doesn't follow the rules. I'm like, it's a name, capital
Yes.
letters, you know, and that's why within here, you know, you can see it on here, but for some reason they do not like it in the capital letters on here. So yeah, I just tried again, and I just tried to appeal it, and I still lost. But so just making sure you have all your information, your website information, your phone number, other ways to link you up. Make sure that you're doing that, and make sure that your pictures, this is so key, because again, I love looking at other people's, make sure that your picture looks like you, and that you're updating it like every year would be good, every 6 months. Even during COVID, I kind of had a little joke because I did my avatar in my non-blonde hair because I wasn't blonde during COVID. And so I did kind of update some of my pictures there to joke and go, well, now I look more like my avatar, and my avatar looks like me. So make sure your pictures are up to date, and make sure your pictures are warm and welcoming. I've seen some very harsh pictures of people, and then you meet them of agents, and you meet them, and they have the brightest, shiny personality, but their picture makes them look like they're hard. So make sure you include a picture that, you know, looks like you, but is also welcoming.
Can you talk about your video cover? Because I believe that's one of the most underutilized features of a business page.
So the video cover, you can create a video, and you do have to have it specialized for Facebook because it is the length one. And so I actually did pay somebody to do this particular one. There's a couple services that you can do that will do it, and you can just slide the pictures in, and that's what I did, because formatting it, you have to make sure that it fits in the Facebook page on your phone and on the computer. So I did pay somebody to do this for me and post it, because that for me was easier. But you can also do a slideshow, which in my other one, and I do have two, I have my local town. I just went with the slideshow for that particular one. So this one is just, I just use pictures on this one because I tend to change this one a little bit more to make it local. And so I just used pictures on that one.
Okay, looks fantastic. Thank you. I'm sure we'll come back to this, but I'm going to have you go ahead and stop your share, and we're going to turn it over to Jeff. I'll keep an eye on questions. And so please feel free. We'll come back to that. You can ask Lisa more questions. I'm sure you'll think of those. Please follow her page. Follow her on social media as well.
All right. There it is. Stop share. All right. There you go.
All right. Sounds good. So Natalie, I see your question. Where did you make the slideshow cover? That was just answered. So thank you, Lisa, for that. One person said they were able to use the all caps, but my personal name is first and my brokerage, which may be different. That's an interesting theory. I don't know. I created a demo page myself, but this was 4 years ago, and it let me do it right out of the gate, but I'm not sure.
And I'm not sure if it's just because I've had it for so long that they're like, nope, not going to let you change it. So I'm kind of wondering that.
It's quite a process on there. So Jeff, are you ready to share your screen?
Sure.
We want to see all the great things you're doing, your business page, and
All right, are we there?
yes, we are. Thank you.
So we, we've taken the social media thing as serious as any of our other marketing that we do. One of the things that Lisa, sort of hinted at about like contact information and so on, to me, that as much as it sounds very, very basic, I actually do believe that it is essential to be able to find a business, whether it's on Facebook, Google. There's a lot of algorithm in the background that people don't realize, that if you had your address, postal code, or zip code, then the city versus your address, and then the opposite, you're not going to have as much optimization. So in taking like the time to make sure that all of your information is accurately placed, you know, like if you have a suite number for your business address, your suite number should be either before or after, but whichever way you do it, it needs to be the same right across the board. So although it's really basic, it makes a big difference when people search and try to find you organically, right? We, like Lisa, we do use video. I will put in the comments just after this because I'm not really good at multitasking. But right after this, I'll share sort of some of the different software companies that you could use that are pretty basic to do video editing, but also some graphic design with text. I know Lisa had given a few examples of what she likes. But in terms of like what we do, like the cover video that we have, these are just clips of listing videos for the most part. And some advertising videos, and then they've just spliced it. This is from a marketing company, but they've spliced it into a cover video, right? So before we were on Friday, Lisa, Michelle, and I, we were chatting, and you know, one of the things that I mentioned to them was like, we really try. There's no better word to me than we try to recycle the content that we have to get a greater shelf life out of it, right? This cover video, it could also be reformatted just for the right size to run as a sponsored ad on social media, right? It could actually be reformatted into a television commercial. Like there's a lot of, like nothing actually has to change. There's the RE/MAX logo, our business name, our phone number, our contact information. And, you know, that's one of the things that I think sometimes realtors, we all sort of struggle with is, you know, we do a listing video, we know what the cost is. We know it's even more expensive if we get professionals to do it for us, right? And I think one of the ways to maybe justify or sort of help with offsetting some of that cost is you just have to think of it, number one, as an investment. It's not an expense. And then you have to look at it and say, okay, I'm building a library of content that I can use in the future. And at the same time, you can post it. Like Lisa mentioned, I think you pick a couple of social media platforms and you get really good at them, or one and you get really good at it, but you can actually use this stuff for other things, right? Like this video to me could also be in my listing presentation, right? Just to show the people that are working with our office. What else would you like to know, Michelle? Like I can go through this. I mean, I'm happy to sort of share.
So have you gotten any reviews, and this could be for Lisa too, any reviews on your Facebook page? Because I heard something recently at a tech conference that said Facebook and Google control over 80% of the internet traffic. So using reviews on both Google and Facebook would certainly serve you well. And that's okay if you haven't. I mean, it's still sort of not used as widely as say some of the other review platforms.
So we've been, I'm going to say, trying to improve. I'm not going to say weak. We've been trying to improve, you know, certain parts of our business, and one of them would be under the review section. And what we've done is we've tried to make it easy. I know there are softwares out there where you can literally send, you know, I send Lisa a link and say, Lisa, it was great. You know, thanks for buying your house with our office. You know, do you mind just writing a quick review? I make it really easy. Lisa clicks the link. It's already marked it as a 5-star rating. And then Lisa just puts in her, you know, comments on why she enjoyed working with us. To me, some of our agents have had a hard time asking for, you know, a review, but I have to tell you, because we've really just started really trying to engage it, Google has been more effective for whatever reason than Facebook when we give our clients both options. But, you know, definitely, you know, if you've done a good job, I think when people are excited and they've sold their house for a good price or they've bought their dream home for their family, they take it as like, sure, no problem at all. I'll be happy to do that for you, right? It's just a mindset in the ask. So yeah, so we have gotten some reviews, not as many as we would like for Facebook, but we've started, right? Like we've started doing it. And I think it's important, like Lisa also, I saw in one of her comments on one of her slides, it's like, you want to acknowledge the people that write to you, not just like them, you want to acknowledge it, right? We also, I know Lisa mentioned her profile photo. because we have a business with some people, it's hard to jam 9 of us into one little picture. But like for our logo, oh geez, what do they do? Let me see if I can open that again. It doesn't want to open. We have like our initial W, and unfortunately you can't see it here, but we have we support a charity in Ottawa for first responders. So like on all of our sold signs, like you'll see it in our cover video, on all of our sold signs, the people, our clients know that a portion of our commissions goes to a local charity that helps with mental health, from operational stress injury and PTSD for fire, paramedic, police, and the military. So that's kind of our unique twist, if you will, that you don't see any other realtors really doing in the city. And it's a differentiator, right? So let me just see if I can find a picture here quickly. This is one of those testimonials that I was talking about. That's just literally a caption from
That's
Google.
a great way to really leverage and repurpose your reviews. And it doesn't even it could be a year old, but it's still a review, and it's still a great way to promote that and use that in marketing.
And I love that Jeff has it branded. I mean, again, it's all about the branding, and the way Jeff is branding himself and his team is fantastic. Because now I'm going to start seeing W's all over the place and think of you, Jeff, because it's a great way to brand. So you got to really think about what you're branding, the way Jeff has it branded, and whether you're branding yourself as a single individual agent or whether you're branding your team. You got to really think about that branding and make it so that it's you.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you, Lisa. Like, I think consistency is critical. So like whatever you decide to do, you stick with it, right? Because to me, social media is a long game, right? You could go years of, potentially posting, or days, and you never know, just like marketing in general, you never know when you're going to get engagement, right? Like for us, like I said, with the first responders, we really take our time to sort of say, okay, like, on the 10th of October, it's World Mental Health Day. Like, as a business, we support these people. So yes, we're going to make sure that we acknowledge them, right? And for us, it's first responders. For someone else, it could be, breast cancer. It could be, something that's related to children.
Children's Miracle Network here in the US.
Exactly. And you know what, we have it obviously here as well. Because of the client database that we had, where we had, especially in Ottawa being, the capital, we had a lot of military. We also looked at it too from the side of, there's 5,000 first responders in Ottawa. That's 5,000 homeowners, families, right? Like we do it because we actually really just believe in the mental health component for them from our own personal experiences with some of our families having gone through that. But the reality is, if you support these people, they also will support you, right? Like it's just the way that it works. But yeah, like I'm just trying to find quickly, like this is just Michelle, Lisa know this, but this is just a funny picture that I took a Steve, and basically we just wrote, Steve made a bet with the owner that he could sell their home for over $1 million. It was listed for $945,000. And if he did, he could have their mushrooms. So these were planted in the owner's garden, and Steve won the bet, right? But it's like Lisa said, it's real life. It kind of shows you a bit of, the true people behind the business. And it also happens to get a lot more engagement.
That's so funny. Is there 4 of them there? Looks like he's got a whole arm.
He has 4. Yeah, he has 4.
Yeah, the real life stuff really works, and the real life and the reviews. You get a lot of, and it's not so much engagement, but you get a lot more views on the reviews too. People read them. People want to know what they're saying about you.
Absolutely. Cookies, those are awesome.
So this is a military client that moved out of province, and she is a small business and she makes these cookies, right? So she made these cookies for us to say thank you for selling her house. But again, like, it's real life, and it also has more engagement. So,
Can you talk, Jeff? See on the left-hand side there where it says shop? and it has your listings. First of all, I love your page, and I've looked at it in great detail, and I have not seen this on hardly any other real estate page. So how did you set that up?
So there is a shop feature. I'm trying to think of where it is on this side over here. Maybe I won't rummage through to find it, but there is a section where it is shop, and you basically create like a shopping cart of your inventory. And it's just another section like this frame right here, right? Like you could hide this frame on your business page if you didn't have it. But once you engage it, like ours is also, I don't want to say out of date because some of these properties have sold, but this cart, we have a person that, spends time like uploading this information, right? So again, like it kind of comes down to the one-stop shop, right? Do you want people? What I've learned about social media is when you think nobody's looking at it, people are looking at it, right? Like when you think people aren't going to read your reviews, they are really reading your reviews. And when you least expect it, you might be sitting in front of a buyer or a seller and they might say, hey, I saw that video that you posted and those bloopers were really funny. And you're thinking, how did you find that? But at the same time, people do, like Lisa was saying, they really do go on the private setting. And the same thing about the shopping experience, right? So just putting the inventory, it's just one more place of visibility for your homes for sale.
This is your new resume. This is truly your new resume. I've had buyers who I had no idea who they were call me up and say, hey, I want you. Literally, I had a $1.7 million sale off of a guy who called me and was like, hey, I've been looking at your Facebook page. So excited to see your kids are doing well and your daughter's playing volleyball and blah, 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 blah. I'm moving to Minnesota. Can you help me find a house? Yeah. So this is your resume. People will search you out. They might find you someplace else, whether it's a Google or possibly a Zillow, but they're gonna go to your resume, which is your Facebook page.
Lisa, it's a great point. When someone Googles you, your Facebook information comes up almost the top almost every time. So I saw a question from Heidi. Hi, Heidi, who's on Facebook watching us from Wisconsin. She said, is there a way to take a Google review and get them on Facebook, or does the consumer have to put it on Facebook? So there's no way to automatically feed that from Google. As with Google and Facebook, they are separate review platforms. So it is best, they need to go there and actually post it. It's one of those things where the good news is anyone can post a review for you on Google and Facebook. The bad news is anyone can post a review. So you got to keep an eye on those. And there are some community standards that have to be followed in which that, make sure they're appropriate. You're not being threatened. It's not harassing or anything like that. But that's a great question. And Heidi also wants to know who created your brand. So maybe Jeff, if you can provide, I'm guessing you outsourced that, or did someone on your team design that?
No, we outsourced it to a local graphic design company, and they help us monthly, right? Like you can sort of look at it and say, okay, I don't want to do this, but our business, we've been around a long time. Like we know that we're our brand, right? We know that we want to represent ourselves. And part of it is taking the time and sometimes a little bit of money to invest, into creating an identity. But, for general, like I'll put it in the comments section here, but, like Canva is a really good, basic website that you can use as an app as well. Adobe Spark is a great software for video editing. And you'll get something that's a little more polished. You're not necessarily just getting something very basic. In terms of, just going to give you a couple of other options too, because I saw someone's question about like, how do you post? Like, I think someone asked Lisa, how do you post to different platforms? Like Hootsuite is a very popular software for that, so that you can post on Facebook and Instagram. Like it can do both. We use something called Later, Later. And the reason why we use it as well, and I think you can do it on Hootsuite, but I think this is important for people. Like we have busy times and we have slow times. We all know that. But if you can build out a bit of a content calendar for the next month, you can basically automate, okay, I want a post to go out every Tuesday at 6 p.m. You drop the post in, and then you can walk away from it, right? It takes care of it for yourself. So if you're busy, you're not like, geez, I should have done that. You can actually walk away knowing that it's basically, as long as you're a month ahead, you can keep pretty fresh current content, but you'll always have consistency rolling out. We do that. Like if you look at our business page, that stuff isn't a human being posting that. That's a month's worth of work in advance, especially on the graphic design, testimonials, that kind of thing. And then it's just launched for the future.
And it also seems like you have a good mix, Jeff, of pre-scheduling, but then also having some spontaneous moment posts like the mushrooms.
Yeah, it's too good not to post.
Right.
And to follow up with that, because it hasn't been that long since I've actually started real estate and struggled and worked my way up. And I'll tell you, there's a direct correlation to my social media usage and spend to where my business went. I mean, that's why I don't have any, my husband is all for it because he can see the direct correlation. But if you don't have a lot of money to do design and stuff like that, check out Fiverr. Fiverr is a fantastic resource. They can build you a brand for not a lot of money, and you can choose different people. So check out Fiverr. It's very inexpensive, and it's a good way to start because you can find somebody there, especially during COVID. There's a lot of people that lost their jobs, and they will use Fiverr now to help build different brands. And people that they might be out of work that now are looking at helping build brands. I've had 2 reach out to me, go, hey, do you know real estate agents who need this? So if you're looking for somebody, you can ask me. I have 2 people that are looking to do more designs and more brands. So Fiverr is a good one. And then as for posting to all of the sites, you can integrate your Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all of that right into your business pages on Instagram. So you don't even have to use it's just one more thing you wouldn't have to use the Hootsuite because you can do it right from there. Riz Media and Emerge, they literally link right to everything. So you can grab a post from them and it will shoot it out to everything. So in reality, when people are like, I don't have time, which I know is usually the #1 excuse is I don't have time. I really make it easy for it so that and you should try to post different things on different pages, but if you don't have the time or if you don't have assistants, because we all don't have it. I mean, not everybody has an assistant. I don't have a full-time assistant, and I do most of my social media posting myself, and so I make it easy for myself. I just want to show you. So here's my phone, and on my phone here's my social media. Let's see if we can get that. See that. So there's my social media button here, and literally it has everything in here, all my links to all the things, everything. And I literally, if I am sitting and waiting for anything, I literally will just post on if before bed, before getting up, I'll post it right away, and it links to everything and just shoots it out, and then I'm done for the day. So really, if you get in a habit of doing it in the morning, you could do it in a matter of 10 minutes and have it all posted and forget about it the rest of the day if you really want to. But I make it super simple. I do everything on my phone. I really don't hardly do anything on my computer. I do everything on my phone. And I make sure that I get into that Google, because you really want to take advantage of Google, the Google business page, to get those reviews and things like that. So make sure you're not forgetting about the Google business page, the YouTube video, which you might not have a lot of views, but using your voice and having those videos actually gets you higher up when it comes to when you're being Googled. So it's really not as daunting as it may seem if you learn the little tricks that everything links together.
That's great, Lisa. And just so everyone knows, I just dropped a link in the Zoom chat box for those of you that are on Zoom. And it's a link to download a social media best practices guide that Remax has put together. It's on Max Center. It's been updated because it has TikTok on it. And so go ahead and click on that and you can download it. And again, it's in Max Center and the Remax marketing portal. There's also a content calendar in there. There's a couple of versions of that just to kind of give you some ideas that play right along with what Lisa and Jeff are advising you on. So Jeff, I had a quick thing I wanted to mention on your business page. One of the other things that I really liked was the fact that you list out your other handles for your other social media like Instagram, and that's a really good best practice, right? Just making sure that everyone knows how to reach you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's just visibility, right? Like if you go to our website, at the bottom of our website on the main landing page, there's access to Facebook, access to Instagram, and access to YouTube, right? Like you try to make it as easy as you can for the consumer. You're not really hiding anything, right? Instagram and Facebook aren't really competing against one another for our business, right? If anything, who knows? Like our Instagram page is very different than our business page. Our Instagram page is not about our people whatsoever. It's actually just like a real estate library. We started it that way. It's continued to grow, but we're very consistent with it. Like some people, they'll try to keep like the same color palettes. Like I've done a lot of reading on it, and it's just what you decide you want your image to be, right? And I think you don't have like just go with whatever's inside of you and roll with it, and put your own unique spin on it. Because I can think of like sometimes it's slogans of my competitors that I watch, and I'm like, they're genius. Like it's genius, right? Like but they always include it, like you said, Lisa, about your hashtags, right? Like people end up identifying, like you just said, with us often it's like, well, I see your W everywhere, right? Or, but it's basically been burned into their minds. And, each person can do that, right? Just you have to figure out how you do that.
Yeah,
Right.
and constantly using it with your W. I'm always when on my videos, get the Hanley advantage. I mean, it's just something that's easy, and now I have people tagging, going, "Yep, that's the Hanley advantage," and that's what you want. You want to have people think of that and go, "Oh, you should hire Lisa. They have the Hanley advantage." Well, what does
Right.
that mean? So thinking of that way. So if you're just starting business pages and Instagram pages, I'd highly recommend to something that we really weren't allowed to do when I started the business page, because at the time Minnesota had a law that our brokerage had to be larger than our name. And so everything I made had Remax Advantage Plus first and then my name. And as some of you are finding out, when you Google or when you type in Facebook Lisa Hanley, my business page doesn't pop up. If you're starting it now and you don't have that rule, put your name first and then put the brokerage. But we had to, at the time, they were really watching social media. They were, looking for things like that to get people into trouble. And now I've tried to switch it and I can't switch it because again, Facebook won't let me. So if you're doing it from the get-go, put your name first if that's what you're trying to brand.
For sure. So Jeff, what are some things you've seen out there not to do? Maybe you've seen other real estate professionals do it, or, just what advice do you have what not to do on social media?
I think getting too personal sometimes. I think some people are fantastic keyboard warriors, and they can hide behind their screen and they have no problem giving their personal opinion. And I think that goes, there's nothing wrong with, your opinion. You can do what you want with it, but what people maybe interpret, who you are, and they're making decisions on whether or not to use you as a trusted professional for, their buying or selling. I would be very cautious about that. Even on your business, whether it's your business page or your personal page. And I also think like allowing something to go dormant is also not necessarily going to play in your favor, because if you sort of go on a barrage of posts this week and then next week you do nothing and the following week you do nothing, I mean, like I sort of said, people are searching you all the time. And, I don't think you have to post every hour or, every day even, but I think you need to be consistent. So that consistency, I'm sure, Lisa, you probably will agree with that. Like you can get sucked into the vortex of social media, right? Like you literally can. You need to like remove yourself from it. And, potentially that's also something that I would not suggest is, don't feel that you have to go on it all the time. Like you can walk away from it for a while and it's still going to be there. But at the same time, I would say the most important one would be inconsistency. To me, that would be the one that I would try to avoid at all costs. And if you can only do 2 posts a week, but that's what you can be consistent with, then that's what you should do. And then if you start seeing the benefits from it, you can start adding, whether it's video, whatever, it's a testimonial. You just think of it as like baby steps, right? But once you start, walking, you can start running, and then you can start, racing.
I like it. So Lisa, what are some don'ts in social media from your perspective?
Try to stay out of politics. You will really separate, and I know right now it's just that hot button topic, but if you really try to stay out of politics, because if you took away the politics, we are so much more alike than we are different, and that politics will polarize you one side or the other. So try not posting politics, try not commenting on politics too much if you can help it. You can laugh at some of the things or haha some of the things, because there are some funny things out there, but don't get into the arguments, don't get into that personal side of things, because you don't want to polarize your potential clients or your past clients or your current clients. So try staying out of that. If you get to the point where you're comfortable with videos and stuff, I've seen it before, don't make it too sexual. And I hate saying it, but it does happen. And I still cringe. I just saw another one, a guy in a bathtub. Why are we in a bathtub? There's a guy coming out of a bathtub in a luxury home. And I just literally am like, why are we in a bathtub in somebody else's house? So things like that, it's, and I don't know if it's supposed to catch the eye or what it is, but just things like that, I'd be very, very careful with when you're posting those kind of things. Those would be probably my two don'ts.
Lisa,
Well said.
Michelle,
sure.
I was just going to say, I see Anastasia asked, where do you get your post ideas and content?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Lisa, you want to answer that, but I have a few answers. I'm happy to too, but go ahead, Lisa.
So I get it from various different, and I put some in there. So Keeping Current Matters, Riz Media, those places have some great ideas. Also, I follow like a Tom Ferry, a Jared James. They always have really good ideas as well. And a lot of times it's questions. As real estate agents, we get the same questions over and over again. So oftentimes when somebody asks me a question that I've had like already 3 times in one day or 10 times in a month, I pull up my video and I'm like, so let's talk about this question. And that's how I get my ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think too, like you'd be surprised, and it's a good question that Anastasia asked, because it goes into sort of your core, like what your passions are, maybe what you enjoy yourself. Often it's a much easier way to post if you enjoy it. Like I have no problem taking a picture of a golf course because I love it. Right? Like to me, I'm like, this is fantastic. And if it's for nobody else, it's like, I'm happy to share this. So I think from a consistency standpoint, you with ideas and content, you could look at it in many different ways. You could look at it and say, okay, if it's housing related, how about highest price, lowest price? What's like a record transaction that just happened in the city that I work in that I want to share? Right? It doesn't even necessarily have to be your listing. Maybe there's something, maybe your government has dropped interest rates and you think that that's really important, specific about housing. Maybe you love kitchens and you're like, these are the coolest kitchens I've seen on my journey showing homes. Or maybe it's pools. Like there's a bunch of different, but whatever you do, you want to kind of stick with it because people are going to get to know you that way, right? Like what's Anastasia's next kitchen she's going to post. The last one, was over the top. But at the same time, it could also be seasonally. So like things that are important in the community. So seasonal, like sports and recreation, things around the school year, which also indirectly are your buyers and your sellers, because for the ones that have kids. If it's promoting potentially local businesses, we didn't talk about that, but I think that if you take, especially during COVID, if you want to start being part of your community, if you start promoting local business, you're probably one of the only people that's going to do it for that business owner, right? You're making that business owner feel good about their business. And guess what? You've done 2 things. You've updated the market on this business and maybe something neat that they're doing, but you've also earned the respect of that business owner for a potential client in the future because you made them feel special, right? You included them in what you're doing. So those types of things to me aren't a waste, but you can also just ask your friends, ask your peers, like, what would you want to see, right? hopefully those are some ideas that help.
That was
Michelle,
very helpful.
can I follow up on that, Michelle? Can I show
Please.
a post that I did for exactly that, especially during COVID? You know, there was a shop that literally they were just going to open their doors in February. COVID hit, and now they've opened up. And so I'm going to just share my screen real quick here. And
No, absolutely. I mean, they're small business owners just like you are. I think that's great points to
And
make.
while Lisa's doing that, I'll just hint on one thing. Like, I know Michelle had asked me, how do you build your audience, right? You can do it organically, and you can have your clients that you meet, the people that you invite them from your personal friends to your business page. That's one way. But you can also have very targeted, potentially contest giveaways, events related to a local business, right? And it doesn't have to be necessarily large items of value, right? You could just be, you could basically give away, I don't know, could be like passes to a local hockey game if there was hockey on, or, a meal or takeout, right? And then people start, you make the requirements, like our page, share it, maybe give us one reason why we love Ottawa, right? So you create engagement. But that to me is how you start building your audience. And if you were to do it with advertising money, boosting it, you can make it specific to a geographical location, like right in the neighborhood that you want to work in, so that you're not getting likes and shares of people overseas. You're getting stuff that is actually, in your marketplace, people that are in the marketplace.
Right. Let me share this real quick, this page here, so that people can see kind of what we were talking about. So this is the guitar shop. Can you see that?
Yes.
So this is the guitar shop. They literally were supposed to open right before COVID and just opened now. This particular person did happen to be a past client of mine, and I shouldn't say past client, just client / now friend. And so I just went there and said, hey, I'm going to come over there and do a little video on it and just kind of show a little bit about what they have to offer. I made her do a video because I believe in the power of social media. So I had her do a video telling about what was in there. Just so happened that a whole bunch of people came in after I came in, which was wonderful. And then I did a little video just kind of saying about me stopping there, and that I actually purchased. They had little ukuleles that you could buy for very little. And so I showed them how that I was able to support. So super simple. It literally took me no time, but the amount of shares and comments and I mean that is going to be she was so happy. She shared it with other people. And you want to talk about client relationship. It really, for her, the referrals, she's already given me referrals before, but I know now that, we've solidified because I'm helping her business. She's going to help my business, especially during COVID. Go to these places. If you go to a regular restaurant that you go to, take a picture of it, do a video, say, this is where I love to go. This is why I love it. And it will get out there. We do it kind of with our hardware store too, because it's a smaller hardware store. And now he's been sharing with us, and he'll kind of take us in his hardware posts. So it really kind of, it's a give and take, and it really does make a difference. And it doesn't take much time, and you're there anyway.
That's awesome. I mean, and you'll find I've actually had conversations with small business owners, and they don't know much at all about Facebook or advertising. You're in a powerful position to be a marketing advisor for them, where you can show them and talk to them about the value and how to build a Facebook ad and why they should do one to target, especially if they're brand new to the area. And we're not talking about the chains, the franchise chains, that restaurants and whatnot, but these local business owners that really could use a boost. So that's awesome. I see a lot of questions coming in. We're over the hour, but we appreciate you hanging with us because
Michelle, can I say one thing on video? Because I know we didn't really talk too much about it.
I was getting ready to say we didn't touch on video. Say whatever you want, Jeff.
You can take all your mistakes, and I'll share it quickly. You can take all your mistakes and turn it into something good. I think people like to see that the business is also not perfect, right? Like they like to see the real colors of the business. So I'll just quickly share something. And ironically, to me, this is what gets the most engagement.
Because they like to see you're human.
Yeah, they like to see you're human. And you know what? People like to laugh, right? Like we're in a time where you know, people are stressed out. But let me see if I can just quickly find our bloopers here, because it's a pretty funny. Yeah, like here's our. I won't play the whole thing, but.
Might need to turn up your.
Oh, I don't know.
Space. I can't
Can you hear that, Michelle?
So check on Facebook there. Sometimes it mutes it automatically.
It's your lifestyle and
I
has
don't know if
everything.
it's not playing.
Okay, there's this, you can share your sound on Zoom. So stop your screen share and then reshare, but click the button that says share sound.
Sure, I'll just share it. But it's worthwhile, I think, afterwards watching, because for us, like some of our engagement on our bloopers, like I would take that and I post it on our personal page. We would run that as a sponsored ad, you know, because people like really do laugh at it and they remember it. So if you've never done video before, as much as you're like, geez, I can't do this, like just, you know, the pacing that you'll do, you know, you're walking it off, you can take that and re-engineer that into probably one of the better videos, right? Like of your business, you'd be surprised. So
I think that's great. Do either of you do Facebook Live? We didn't really touch on that. And I know I get a lot of questions on that too.
I do Facebook Live. I don't do it as much. It just, again, I'm kind of fly by the seat of what's happening right now, but I will do some Facebook Live.
Okay. Jeff, how about you?
Myself, you know what, I've done Facebook Live before, not because I don't want to. It's just I don't really do it. You know, I have no real reason, which is not a good reason. But I do know, like with Facebook Live, what's kind of nice about it is that you can see like literally the live engagement, right? So you can see who's on. You can sort of let it populate, no different than this Zoom meeting. And then it obviously just gets polished into a video for you for your page.
Thank you so much. So I've seen a lot of questions about how do I get help with my business page. Make sure you know on Facebook, and I recommend you go on desktop to do this. There's a whole help section. If you click on your name in the top right corner, there it says Help Center. If you just type in business page, there's tons of articles and resources in the Facebook help portal on how to go about getting your business page started. We didn't touch on community pages. That's a whole other strategy. So Lisa and Jeff and I, when we met, we said there's no way we're going to get through all of that we want to talk about. So I know we're already over the hour. It looks like we got a request for part 2. That's not a bad idea from Ron. So you never know. The three of us can always come together again for sure. So, you know, it's really been exciting to hear what Lisa and Jeff, what their online efforts are doing to generate offline results. And that's really what the purpose of social media is. You still want to take that offline. You still want to have that in-person relationship. And like Lisa said at the beginning, it's easy to get overwhelmed for sure on all of these. So let's kind of bring this home. I wish we had more time. I'd love to keep hearing from Jeff and Lisa, but we'll start with you, Jeff. What are some final words of advice you have for your peers about social media in general?
Like Lisa at the very beginning, just do it. You know, I think you want to start somewhere. Consistency, like I said, you know, and you know, if you want to make yourself visible as a business page, of course, but even on your personal page, I think there's a human being behind every friend that you have, right? We often forget that. We just like stuff. We're like robots. It would be, you know, you can comment, you can engage with them. I know Lisa said in one of her slides, like take it offline, send them a direct message. You know, like for example, last night, there was a business owner in Ottawa that owns a restaurant with a fantastic reputation. And our city decided to fine him for not having the proper outdoor patio, you know, set up because of COVID. And like to take this guy down on the 6 o'clock news, in my opinion, pretty terrible. Like the city picked the wrong target because he's got a great reputation. I mean, and I meant it. I just sent him a direct message and I said, you know, Dominic, like you did a very good job in your interview. You know, it has to be hard. you know, I reached out, if there's ever anything we can do to help, you know, that kind of thing, let us know. And, you know, I believe he'll actually also remember that. Like, I really did mean it, but I mean, he'll also remember it, right? So it's taking the time to do that. And lastly, like, you know, you can have a little bit of fun with it, right? Like, show a bit of your true colors, because they're going to meet you at one point anyways, right? If they're inviting you into their home and they've seen you on social media, they probably like you already. Otherwise, they wouldn't be inviting you into their home. Yeah.
Excellent advice. Lisa.
All right, so a few things. Hashtag, create your own personal creative hashtag that you use on everything. Use it on everything. Make sure that you have a business page and Instagram and Facebook at least, and you use your Google business page. And if you can hear that, I'm sorry. And then also make sure you take it off of Facebook and off of, because yes, social media is great and commenting and direct message them is great, but take it to the next level. Get on the phone and call them. And sometimes things happen that on social media, somebody will share and I will send flowers, a loss of a pet, a loss of a loved one, birthdays, anniversaries. I see that on social media and I'm calling the flower shop, or I'll go and I'll send a present to them. So use this in a different way to do your touches with your clients in a different way. Use that social media platform to really show them that you care too.
Thank you so much. Well, this session has been recorded. It will be posted on the RE/MAX INTEGRA YouTube channel. I'm also going to send it out along with anything Lisa and Jeff want to share with me, your slides, and I see some requests for that. I'm happy to share those out in a follow-up email later today. So thank you so much to Lisa and Jeff. I really appreciate you taking time out of your crazy busy schedules to share with all of your peers at RE/MAX. It looks like you're getting a lot of shout outs from the audience. So thank you so much, everyone. We'll be back same place, same time next week with 2 new panelists. So you guys were great. Thank you. And thanks for joining us, everyone. Go RE/MAX.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Jeff. We'll see you guys.
Send me a friend request.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.